Hi everyone. Today I am quite excited to share the topic that has come up on my Instagram a few weeks ago, and it was all about how to build better relationships. And this is a topic that I have been learning a lot about over the past month or so as part of my positive psychology course that I'm studying, and I have so much information I would love to be sharing with you. But as always, I am going to make sure that I only pick out the key highlights and the things that resonated with me the most to ensure that I am not overwhelming you with information and you can pick out one thing that you will take away from this video and apply in your day-to-day life. Now, as part of my course, the context that everything we were learning about how to cultivate better relationships was all explained in the context of romantic relationships. However, it was also explained to us, and I can really see that now as well, how that is the case, is that most of those things apply to all kinds of relationships, be it friendships or family relationships with the colleagues. So for simplicity's sake, today I will be sharing things, and I guess all the examples that I'll be providing would be in the context of a romantic relationship. But please keep in mind that this actually, to a degree, 90% of the things I'll share apply to all relationships in our lives. All right, so let's get into it. There are three key areas that I am going to discuss with you in the context of how to cultivate better relationships. First one is realizing that you have to work on the relationship. Second one is that you need to stay your own person. And third one is cultivating positive emotions, savoring, and gratitude in your relationship. Let's break them down one by one. First one, realizing that you need to work on a relationship. This, I feel, is one of those big myths out there, and I feel like we have to thank the media and movies and romantic books for that. But we've never been taught the skill of good relationships, and quite often it's all about happily ever after. Two characters meet and then their relationship develops, they get married, and that's it. We're done. Basically, from there on, it should just all be easy, right? Wrong. The thing that often we forget is that the reason why it feels so amazing at the beginning is because of how much effort, energy, and attention we put towards a relationship. And quite often over time, yes, then the novelty wears off, and I guess all those hormones pumping in our brain no longer do that. But it also happens because we just stop paying attention and we start taking the relationship for granted. And actually, no matter whether it's a romantic relationship or friendship, unless you invest time and energy into it, it's not going to flourish. And there are actually so many key skills that really help us make sure that we have strong relationships. How we communicate with each other, how we give each other feedback, active listening. All of those skills really help us to make sure that our relationships stay strong and don't go cold. And unfortunately, quite often we don't think about it. So first and foremost, I need you to realize that working on a relationship is a good thing. It doesn't mean that your relationship is bad or there is anything wrong with it if it requires work. So investing time, investing effort, investing energy and intention and attention is crucial. Number two, this one in particular is probably mostly relevant to romantic relationships, although I sometimes see that play out in friendships as well. And that is making sure that you stay your own person. Now, this is, again, I guess all the movies and books probably didn't give us any good favors there. And that is when we hear phrases like, oh, you're my other half, or you complete me. And that's actually a little bit wrong, because the essence is, and the best and the healthiest types of relationships are where there are two whole individuals who can lead normal lives and don't need another person to complete them. However, they like having that other person in their lives because it makes their life better or more fulfilling, and there's lots of positivity out of it. However, they're still being their own person. So one of the key things to keep in mind is not to dissolve in a relationship, and particularly at the early stages of a romantic relationship, that's something that is quite easy to do. But making sure that you're staying your own person with your own interests and passions and hobbies is incredibly important. The risk that you may run into if you don't is that you may end up in what is called a codependent relationship. And that usually leads to quite a lot of resentment from the other partner, but also makes the individual who is in that relationship of codependence feel quite unhappy about their life. So there is that delicate balance where, on the one hand, you don't want to be two individuals leading completely separate lives, because then you have nothing in common and nothing that kind of brings you together. But also, being in the relationship where everything is done together kind of may potentially lead to you losing yourself in that relationship. So finding that balance of having some common passions, interests, and hobbies, and some of your own, is really, really important to having a healthy, positive, thriving relationship. Number 3 is something that I'll probably spend the rest of this video time on, and it is such a crucial point, and that is all about cultivating positive emotions and savoring in the relationship. Now, I need to make a disclaimer here. Talking about challenges, talking through things that are difficult in a relationship is so important. And perhaps at some stage, I might make a video on how to do that well and how to communicate those challenges to each other. So please don't think that I'm advocating for bottling things up. Absolutely not. So making sure that that part is addressed is really important. Second thing is, I'm talking here about generally healthy relationships with, I guess, maybe some of the challenges. Maybe the relationship went a little bit cold, or perhaps it just hasn't felt the same. But I'm not talking about abusive relationships. Those relationships you just need to get out of, and, I guess, seek professional support and help with that. So now, with that out of the way, what I really want to focus on is the really, really key and important aspect that is missed in many relationships, and that is making sure that you find the time to appreciate each other and to appreciate the positives and the good in the relationships. There was this phrase that has really resonated with me, and it stated that problems shout whilst opportunities whisper. And that is so, so true. Typically, if your friend or your romantic partner annoys you, or they do something that you didn't like, it tends to stay with you. You feel it quite acutely, and sometimes we may even ruminate on those things. However, so often we just take for granted all the positive things, and again, our minds are wired for negativity, so it's very imbalanced. And this is the core essence of what I'm really, really trying to convey here. It's not about ignoring the negatives. No, we need to face them and address them, but it's really about balancing it out with lots and lots of positive moments and things that quite often we just don't notice, and we just run through them. So within that, there are a couple of components. One is, all the research shows that focusing on the positives and the good, the strengths, the lovely moments is really, really good for the relationship. Helping the other person feel appreciated, seen, and noticed really helps to strengthen your relationship as well. So make sure that you start doing those things. And one of the key parts is that relationship is not made up of big moments. We only have a few of them, and they happen quite rarely. Yes, you may have a wonderful wedding day, or you go on a beautiful vacation, but you really need to create lots of small magic moments day to day. And that is all about savoring. And I spoke about savoring as a practice in my previous video, and this is absolutely the key. You need to make sure that you create those moments to savor each other, to slow down, to notice, to appreciate. Again, gratitude was the other practice that I spoke about before. And expressing gratitude to each other is so, so crucial. Notice the fact that your partner made you a cup of tea, or that they made a really delicious dinner. Compliment them on their strengths. Notice that, I don't know, how many books they're reading, and point that out to them, that wow, I can really see that you're a very curious person and you love to learn, and I really appreciate that about you. Balancing that scale of negativity versus positivity is one of those key factors that lead to having stronger relationships, be it with your romantic partner, with your friend, or with your family member. You will also notice that once you start doing that maybe at the beginning that is something that doesn't come naturally to you, but over time you'll notice that that's just how you start communicating with each other. And most of the times you will see that it becomes reciprocal as well, because as you start to notice those things and take the time to appreciate your partner for them, or your friend, you'll start hearing those things in return, and it really, really does feel good. So, I guess in summary, the key things that I want to highlight is realize that relationships require work. And in this context, work is not a bad thing at all. It is mostly about making sure that you pay attention and put effort into cultivating your relationship. Second of all, don't lose yourself in it. Make sure you stay your own person with your own interests and passions, and don't get into an obsessive passion situation. And number three is cultivate savoring positive emotions and gratitude for your partner, and make sure that you create those small positive moments and take time to savor and notice them. And I guarantee you that over time, you will notice positive changes in your relationship. I hope this has been useful, and I can't wait to hear if you apply any of those things that I've shared. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Thank you.